Welcome to the first TechC podcast where we talk to founders about their stories and some of the interesting lessons they've learned along the way. I'm Ken, so I've founded a few companies and worked for some tech companies in the past. I have with me James and Matt, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, I can go first. I'll just move quick. I'm a friend of the pod. I think that's the best way to describe me. So I'm a kind of veteran entrepreneur as well. I was in the Lazada gang back in 2014. I've started some SaaS and e-commerce businesses since then, and just recently moved back to Southeast Asia. So I'm really excited to reconnect with you, James, and stay up to date with what's happening in Southeast Asia tech.
I'm basically based in Singapore. My startup has been running for about 4 years around creator e-commerce, basically, that focuses on APAC. And yeah, came from the same kind of gang, 2014 Lazada and onwards. Worked with these two amazing guys. They gave me a chance, and yeah, and now we're still like in contact. So it's really amazing friendships back then.
Awesome. So, so I know James since about 2015 when we worked together in Lazada, and James, I gotta say, like you've surprised me. When we worked together, I didn't think you would be an entrepreneur, but even before I think your current startup, you were doing more or less a startup, right? So maybe tell us a little bit about that transition because it was a surprising one for me.
Right. So I did dabble in like like a startup. I wanted to um, actually even before joining Lazada, before 2014, I wanted to see what I could do as a business. Run it as an entrepreneur. Um, I explored ideas around things that I liked, like reading books, things like bookshop, online bookshop, things like that. Uh, Eventually landed on an experiential website where you could actually book experiences in Singapore. That lasted for a year plus. Didn't get that much of attraction because Singapore's market was essentially too small. So that's how I ended up, winding my way more into the startup scene and meeting this guy called Arthur Brejon in 2014. That's when he hired me into the Singapore team. Yeah. So that's how I got started at Lazada.
And then post Lazada, you were doing you did something before GANK, right?
Yes, so post Lazada, after the Alibaba acquisition, we focused on Daraz, right? And after finishing up the launch of the logistics network there, um, I was thinking like, do I really want to really work on projects all the time? And it was very much projects based. So I looked around and saw that the startup scene was actually heating up quite a bit in Singapore as the hub for this region. So I actually joined a Singapore-based startup called SWAT. It was a logistics uh, on-demand algorithm-based service, and they needed to launch a B2B product, which they hired me for. Yeah, so it was Series A, about $10 million funded uh, startup. It was an interesting experience launching 0 to 1 products. Yeah, and from there, um, just leveraging on the experience to launch what I have right now. Yeah.
Okay. And then so how did the team come together for GANK, and maybe tell folks a little bit more about GANK because I'm not sure if
Right.
they're completely familiar with it.
Yeah. So Gank is essentially a way for any solopreneur who has something to sell. Mostly digital goods. It could be. So we started from the anime, comics, and gaming scene. So a lot of our solopreneurs or content creators are people in that kind of scene where they produce comics. They do commissions for custom illustrations, and they also do photo sets of cosplay. Cosplay is a big scene all over the world, and it's growing in APAC especially. So that is actually our largest segment. Uh, so these people can go onto GANK, set up a profile, set up their shop, set up their membership payment gateways, and yeah, they basically also set up a way to crowdfund from their fans.
Gotcha.
What's different about this platform is that we really focus on localization, taking a leaf from Lazada's strategy of, each country is a different way to handle the customers there. And so from the technology to the way we handle customer service, it's quite different per country. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you're pretty big at this point, right? Like, how much did you guys raise? How many employees do you have?
So
Or if
so
you're allowed to share.
I'll just share. I mean, and I'll say it more like in a very straightforward way. So, 4.1 million USD of equity investment, and 2 million in convertible loans.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's
That's
a pretty big team at this point, right?
Yeah, we have about 40 plus people spread across Southeast Asia and Taiwan. Um, yeah, and we try to be as efficient as possible. So, just leveraging on that whole strategy of localization, we do need a few people per country to take care of the customers and business development. And the core team, it's mostly product and development. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Based in Southeast Asia. Yeah.
so James, you came from a logistics warehouse
Mm,
product, like
mm,
core operations, e-commerce background, and then you've moved into it seems like creators
yeah.
economy. Like, where did that come from? That's kind of an interesting
Right.
transition.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I don't view people as a static kind of people, right? So, anyone that I meet, I always assume that that guy, something has changed about him, over the years. So I think same for myself. In fact, in 2014, the role I went into was as a country product manager, which is more of like a end to end, even on the seller experience side to the marketing and logistics. But from there, I think as Lazada Group really needed someone more in touch with the logistics and just being more on the ground by that nature. I grew in that fashion within Lazada Group. Um, but yeah, after that, I went consciously more into tech oriented environments like this SWAT Mobility startup. And then going into this own startup, which again is back to just doing something that I was interested in, like as a hobby or personally. We didn't start out as a creator commerce platform. We started out as something very different. We actually started out as a gaming marketplace. Uh, and this gaming marketplace is essentially people selling their time to play games with other people. And well, this might sound odd, but it's actually a very big industry in China, where in the Chinese term called pay one is someone to accompany you to play a game. And these are normally just like hot girls, like in you know, like just wearing something very, you know, sexy or something like that. So
Is that what you guys did too? I didn't know about that.
yeah, so the very first iteration we developed was essentially a way for people to play with other people, to team up, to group up. Um, it yeah,
But
it
not
was a
hot girls.
marketplace. It
What did you
I
like?
it will naturally gravitate towards that because
Oh,
that
really?
would be the
Wow.
natural demand, right? And there is a natural supply as well. But yeah, I mean, so this startup, we actually started with that kind of premise. It wasn't the best way to start a startup because this was idea we just plucked from somewhere and assumed it would work, in another place. And that is actually just a rookie mistake between the co-founders and myself. Because this is our first major startup, going out to roll out something completely different or new. And we just didn't know the proper way to start back then. So, after 1 to 2 years of trying to figure out after launching that marketplace, we actually stumbled upon an opportunity to go bigger in terms of market size. Because these gaming companions were actually a subset of wider content creators out there in the anime, comics, and gaming space. So because of this wider set of content creators that could potentially use our platform, we essentially just interviewed and talked with more of these kinds of content creators and asked what problems they were facing in the current market. And we also found out that they were actually doing more than just brand sponsorships by brands. They were also leveraging certain Western platforms like Patreon, um, which were not uniquely suited for Southeast Asia because Patreon at that point of time was not even looking at this area in this region. They didn't care about local payment gateways. They didn't care about uh, switching languages, based on the country. Um, and so we thought this would be an opportunity for us to be the first mover in this region. And yeah, so after 2 years of lost time, we pivoted. Yeah, and it was yeah, it was really hard work. I'm there. It's starting up with a co-founder that you've not worked with before is tough as well. So the first 2 years was a real learning experience, which we took. We smoothed over, things and started afresh again with this new platform. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's that's like incredible product work. You start with a marketplace, and then you speak to the users. You identify a whole new opportunity, and then pivot.
Yes.
But maybe it could have happened sooner. It sounds like that's
Exactly
what
right.
you
So
you wish, but
yeah,
at the end of the
yeah, for
day, it
sure.
turned out well, and that's super cool.
Yeah, I think it could have happened sooner. It was just we had to work out a lot of things besides that, like the co-founder relationships and everything like that. If co-founders are tight, things can really move quickly. So yeah, it took us a few years to get there. Yeah.
What kept you guys from breaking up? It sounds like there were some tough times during those first 2 years. Like, why didn't you just like piss off?
Uh, I actually, why I even quit. So I quit a corporate job at HSBC to do this. Way back before Lazada, I quit my corporate job at HSBC to do this thing of a startup that I just wanted to explore and try. And I always had that kind of propensity to want to try new things. Um, I'm also not very good at corporate hierarchy as well. Frankly, yeah, when things come down to you and without a logical explanation or a way to explain why something you're doing is important, uh, that makes me die a bit inside. So, uh, so I wanted to avoid all that, and try to make things work with this opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. And
So
then
oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead, Matt.
So when you started, you were focused on the products and technology for the most part, and just trying to
Yeah,
find product market fit. And your partner was focused on biz development, trying to get people signed up to the marketplace.
correct. So that was the initial founder um, dynamics. We had three co-founders. One's a CTO. I was brought on as a co-founder because my friend from high school. So my other co-founder is my friend from high school came to me with his idea, and we discussed about it, and there was some seed of opportunity that I thought we could try to grow. So why we started working together is because he didn't have the product background, but he had marketing and background, running his own marketing agency. And for myself, yeah, basically you guys know, like more of like trying to understand the user, the product issues, product problems it's trying to solve. Yeah,
Wait, James, you said this is a friend from high school that runs the
yeah,
marketing agency? Oh, okay, okay. So you
yeah.
hadn't worked together, but you
Yeah, but
knew
it
each
was
other before,
we
right?
knew each other. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
Yeah. So there may be some compatibility issues, but also I think like it's kind of hard to work with everyone when business isn't going well, right? Like
mm,
when business is going well, everyone's great, and
mm,
the team unity is strong, and
yeah,
everyone's wonderful. But if you haven't found product market fit yet,
yeah,
and you're still kind of stumbling after a couple of years, I think that just inevitably is going to kind of like amplify the tensions.
for sure, for sure. And yeah, I mean, the majority of startups are gonna face this in their early days. So, so yeah.
So what, like, it sounds like things were pretty hard for a while there, and
Mm.
then you started getting traction, you know. w- what, like, how did you start to find traction? Did you just throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and something started working, or what was that like?
So we look back at what we built, and it was kind of heavy. It was kind of monstrous for what kind of business we were doing. We built a very heavy, and it was run on Kubernetes distributed systems for very little traffic, which uh so we over engineered, we overbuilt the first 2 years. But luckily we could repurpose a lot of things that we built for this new creator commerce concept. So we look, from my point of view, uh we really wanted to make things much simpler for the user when they came onto our platform. So the feature consciously couldn't be something that would take a lot of time to learn and activate and use. So that was the principle that I worked on for this pivot. So essentially the first feature that we really needed was a way for content creators to crowdfund from their fans. And that's just a simple payment gateway integration and a button for the supporter and to choose the amount they want to donate. So we started from these simple concepts, and we launched it out, and we got the users to use it and stay on the platform. And yeah, basically included ways for them to stay more on the platform, more reasons for them to stay on the platform, like uh, creating post exclusive content for their fans, for example. So this is really still a work in progress. That is still one of our major OKRs for the next quarter, is to really increase the active engagement of creators on our platform so that they will continue to share their profile to their supporters, continue to promote us, to their fans. So that's how we thought about it.
How I mean, so the TAM's massive. Maybe like we could ask or talk about that a little bit. I'm not from a gaming background, but I mean, anytime you get like venture backing, usually there needs to be a very big TAM. Can you talk about like, you're targeting all of APAC, you're mainland China? Kind of how are you quantifying and looking at this?
Right. So what we are our major markets right now is Philippines and Thailand. Actually, they are markets growing the fastest. Um, how we are looking at it is to be in countries where we can solve the most problems, and be of the most value. So we are in countries where uh, typical content creator platforms don't really serve those markets, and we're also looking where the local customer base don't use a lot of credit card, but they prefer to use e-wallets and things like that, because that's where we can differentiate on the customer experience for the supporters. So Philippines and Thailand have been growing a lot on that basis. Of course, a lot of the cosplayers and people who sell photo sets or photo albums, um, and Instagram influencers as well. They don't really have a way to monetize their fans, or make their fans pay you know to support them easily. So they naturally gravitated to our platform. Uh, and how we got the word out is by engaging uh, creators that had traction on social media, and were our ideal customer profile to to co-promote our platform. Basically, we did co-branded content with them, and Philippines was a big success in that way because they are very community minded. So yeah, those are the two major markets. We are mostly focused in Southeast Asia, so we are in almost all the Southeast Asian countries except so far Cambodia and Myanmar. Um, so yeah, but we did go into Taiwan because actually there is a link between uh Malaysia and Taiwan, because the culture of Malaysian Chinese and the culture of Taiwanese Chinese are very similar, and they like the same kind of content. They like the same kind of content creators as well. So there is a lot of regional opportunity, and that's where we are seeing the smarter content creators use our platform to reach out to a regional customer base where previously they could not do that.
And James, what's the like aha moment for a creator on your platform? Because they could set up a Patreon account and get paid somehow, I would assume, and they could sell stuff on a Shopify account. So what is it that they're like, oh no, I'm gonna use Gank because it's much better.
If you talk about different tiers of creators, so the mm, majority of creators would be very simple and straightforward. They just want more of their followers on Instagram to come onto Gank and pay a donation or buy a digital good or photo album. Um, Typically, the aha moment is when after they share their Gank profile on Instagram to their fans, and fans come to their Gank profile and follow them on their Gank profile, and some of them convert into a paying customer. Um, and they see that happening more than on Patreon, because typically what creators will do is try to open up a few accounts on different platforms and experiment. So they are always comparing us against Patreon, always comparing us against another platform. And their aha moment is when they see their local fan base converting more on our platform than Patreon. Yeah, I would say that. So it's actually quite a journey. So it's not like your typical social media app or some kind of consumer app where your aha moment needs to be in the first few moments of your interaction with the app. before you become a sticky user. Our platform, while it needs to be simple, is still quite some dedication involved in getting to that aha moment.
It sounds like there's like a healthy viral coefficient that's baked into it though, right? Because like inside of these like creator ecosystems, if you see another creator posting a gank link, there's some inspiration there, and you're probably thinking, okay, I need to maybe go and check out who these guys are. So, that's magic, right? Like
Yeah,
that's when you
that's
stop
what we are
having to pay
hoping
so
more.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what we are definitely hoping for. We do see it happen. Our organic traffic is actually 80% because of our traffic, because we're just not very good at paid marketing. We don't have any expert marketers on our team. In terms of digital marketing.
And James,
Yeah.
just to clarify, when you did paid marketing, you were targeting creators or you were targeting the creators' fans?
Well, you did paid marketing. We are targeting the creators.
Okay.
Yeah. The return on the spend is typically not very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine like good creators with fan bases clicking on many ads.
Yeah.
So you had to do a lot of like community stuff, offline events. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the in like a very unrefined thought process. I mean, the most direct way that would net us the most direct results. So that's what we tried as well. Yeah. Just to be where the content creators are.
So are you in like full blown growth mode now, or you're still kind of tweaking the product? I'm surprised to say that you're not, spending any money on ads, even though you may be able to do it organically, but it sounds like you have product market fit.
I would say we are on the cusp of product market fit. I wouldn't say we have hit it yet. So this pivot is around 2 years already. In those 2 years, we are trying to see which go-to-market strategies really help net us the valuable creators. We spent quite a bit on community, as Ken mentioned, being at events. But it still was not efficient marketing. And we, in this span of time, we did talk with VCs. Some VCs told us, if you don't have a repeatable way of getting customers, just by putting in cash, it's not very attractive for us. So, that's the kind of concerns they would have. So I can see where your question is coming from. So, and there are ways to game the system, but at a very costly to the business expense, like making very attractive contracts for creators to come onto our platform. But that is not completely unsustainable. And if you go right down to the profit margin, it's absolutely not there. It's negative profit margin. So but those were things that we explored in the first 2 years, and we had a major reshuffle, a major reawakening of even after the pivot into growing sustainably. And this only happened in Q2, Q3 this year. So from spending a lot to finding out what worked and what did not work, we scaled back our marketing spend by about 80% in Q2, Q3, and we didn't market ourselves at all. We spent only about like 7,000, less than 7,000 a month on marketing, and what we saw surprisingly was that our financial metrics didn't go down; it went up. So that's when we knew that we were on the cusp of product market fit, because content creators was still signing up. Existing content creators was still earning month on month. And our revenue didn't take such a big hit in Q3, even though we were not spending a lot. And even this latest September, our revenue even increased from the previous. So it was we actually halted the decline from the scale back of marketing to increasing it even when marketing was scaled back. So that was an interesting process. And now we're in a much better shape in terms of having a product platform that actually focuses on quality and making sure creators and supporters are retained on the platform, and then moving forward, just refining our go-to-market business development and marketing strategies to scale that up. So that is the pivotal point right now in October and Q4, where we'll see whether we do have product market fit or not.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Super impressive. I mean, I think I felt some of the issues with that. I think you see a lot of like fast growing blitz scaling startups that try to acquire customers with this like magical like 7 LTV to CAC ratio or whatever, but no one knows what their LTV is. So
Exactly,
everyone just
yeah.
kind of like fudging the numbers on their LTV and they're like, yep, we've got it.
Yeah.
But the real LTV is not there yet. So it's kind of a cool like breath of fresh air to, see you like acquiring customers and growing nearly like first purchase profitable. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, to get to this was a very painful journey. Even talking about it makes me tear up. So, yeah. But anyway, it's yeah. Let's see Q4.
One thing I was reading about, I think today, Mr. Beast just bought the kind of a platform that's positioning itself as the LinkedIn for creators. But it made me think that a lot of these popular creator platforms are being promoted by big creators like a Mr. Beast or whatnot, because they have a good network and because a lot of people are just, consider him their virtual mentor. Like, how does that work? Have you tried working with some bigger creators and getting them to kind of be your sponsors in a way?
Yes. So I think one lesson we learned was um we basically hit all the mistakes an MBA grad would try not to hit, like like for example, building a feature and trying to push it without truly knowing its value in the market. So like we built a streaming feature for streamers, somewhere like last 2 years, and we didn't see a lot of traction picking up from that. So we decided to engage a bigger streamer based in the US to use it. And while the contract lasted, he used it. He used it as his main. But after the contract ended, he just dropped it, and we didn't see much of a network effect there as well. We didn't see like people of his community or his peer network start using our platform either. So if there is no natural fit to your customer or market, getting even a big brand name uh, will be a very expensive exercise without much return, I would say. Um, yeah, I mean, there is another big creator called Nas, right? And Nas created a creator platform as well, which is monetization through WhatsApp communities. And there's no magic pill for him either. I think he's having a hard time as well, like trying to scale that. So it doesn't naturally translate because your viewership and it's different. It's a different customer segment essentially.
So it sounds like GANK you guys are kind of on the cusp of being able to feel confident that you have product market fit. What's kind of the next couple years look like for you guys?
Yeah, so it's we really wanted to for this year get the basics right, make sure supporters could support their creators in the easiest way possible. So it's a lot of unsexy features, but it's just making sure the platform really works very well for both the supporter side and the content creator posting their content and creating these paywalls on our platform and responding to like it's more of a reactive basis right now, more reacting to customer feedback rather than taking a proactive stance of going for something new and potentially game changing. So what I see next year and for the the next 2 to 3 years is in this year we'll make sure we set up a framework to truly understand the markets that we are in. So creating like an intelligence engine basically, like a way to a machine that can really gather market intelligence and analyze it and then come up with actionable insights. So that's something that I'm really working on right now. So the market could be competitors, it could be news trends, it could be new technology enablement. And then we still talk with our creators and we still interview them, we still send out surveys, making sure all that is in place and it doesn't become a tedious exercise to get all these feedback and intelligence. I really have high hopes for this kind of strategy. And um and then moving forward we can really plan game changing features for our creators and supporters, um and really leveraging uh higher end technology like because we completely avoided LLMs, we completely avoided Gen AI. I mean, we completely avoided all that, even though it will be relatively easy to integrate with any of those services. And why we avoided that this year is because we wanted to avoid the same mistakes we did previously of like building for the sake of something shiny, something new, while not truly delivering the value. So yeah, so basically this intelligence engine is going to help us, make full use of new technologies the next 2 to 3 years. It could be something totally out of the left field, like something we could not imagine now. So yeah,
What are it's been, so you started 4 years ago, you say? Two
we
years, then a pivot, and about 2 years.
yeah, roughly. So we incorporated in 2020, but was only officially operating in 2021. So there is like yeah, slightly less than 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. If you were to start over, or
Yeah.
to the listeners out there, and you could like synthesize all of your learnings going through this into like a couple key lessons, what would you tell people?
Wow. There are actually quite a few lessons. I think you know at the risk of sounding cliche, getting your working relationship right with your co-founder is essential at the start. A lot of pain can be avoided there. Uh, just having hard conversations up front without the emotional stakes. Setting aside those emotions and just really going for the hard topics like who is going to make the final decision for some topics. For example, that's quite a hard topic to discuss with someone that you're working with who you've never really worked with before. And if you are both people who don't really react well to authority, then there's going to be a lot of clash involved. So I would say maybe at least for the co-founding part, don't go all in at the start. Yeah. If you don't
James,
know
did
him.
you say you both don't respond well to authority? Like you both don't want anyone to be authority, or
Yeah. I think both of us are pretty similar in that sense that
okay.
we
So
we
so
don't
both of you kind of
yeah.
don't want
we
to be that guy, the authoritarian figure.
so both so right now we like both of us so firstly my co-founder hasn't really worked for someone else in a very long time, like more than 10 years. And for me, I am someone actually very independent, and don't really like being told what to do as well. So there's that, there's that dynamic which kind of have to work out, and we kind of like settled in a way where we understood each other, were on the same level of understanding, and we trust that what we are going to do. We share the plans, and we trust that the person has the best interest in their heart. So that's the key thing right now that we solved.
Did you guys ever get into a fist fight? I'm kidding. Or is
No.
It was COVID, right? Well, another thing is like you guys
Yeah.
started this business. It was kind of like peak humanity stress levels, right? Where like everyone's like kind of
yeah.
cooped up in rooms and things maybe aren't going that
Yes.
well. And
Yeah, the
like,
first year of wasn't peak COVID yet, but after that we had to like vacate our offices. We let go of all our physical locations. So now we are purely remote working. It's just a distributed team completely. Yeah.
Which project management system do you use?
Oh wow. we are using some open source Kanban software right
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah. Just for development, but we use Asana for
It's not.
general stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ken, we need to get you an affiliate link for ClickUp because I think I know where you
Yeah,
were going
I
with
think we
that. So you
definitely
can
need. Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
make some money for all these plugs you're giving them.
I have an
They,
affiliate link
yeah,
actually.
you do. Okay,
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
You
it'll
just don't
be in
use
the
it.
show notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can wrap up. Really appreciate you taking the time, James, to share your experiences. And I think I learned quite a bit here. Matt, anything you want to add?
No, man, I'm happy for you. I'm happy to see your success. I know it hasn't been a straight line to the top. It rarely is, and the product looks great. The creator grant looks really cool. So I'm happy to kind of like follow along. Is there anything like any plugs you want to make to listeners out there about the business?
Yeah, I mean the main plug is that you can trust us as a platform. Don't worry, even though you've never heard of us. The main thing why you've never heard of us is because we are not very good marketers. We're not, good PR people. We're trying to fix that. But yeah,
All 10
that's the
of
main
our
plug.
all 10 of
Sorry.
our listeners just jotted that down.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
If
okay.
you
It's
find
okay. Yeah.
if you find
Yeah.
a good marketer, let Texie know. Let the rest of us know.
Oh yeah. Sure, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. Okay,
Great.
thanks guys. It's a wrap.
Take care,
Yeah, it's
guys.
great talking
Bye.
with you guys. See you.